Hi everybody, I'm Jody Lester and you're on Elevated Living at elevateme.org, and this is Sunday's Deeper Elevation. Now this Sunday I was having a really hard time with coming up with which topic I wanted to cover today, and lo and behold, what settled in my spirit was daily bread. Now, what is daily bread? Daily bread is that which sustains us on a daily basis. It's that which keeps us animated, it keeps us alive, it keeps us working, moving, pushing forward. It is the very essence of life, because without it, you'll die, right? So if you've ever watched the beginning of this blog, then you'll understand that my belief is we operate as four-dimensional beings, not three. And if you believe that, or if you kind of agree with that, then you would say that all those four dimensions need to be fueled, which means they need to be sustained, they need to have daily bread. So the daily bread for those four dimensions would include the dimensions of our physical selves, which we're all familiar with. It's our bodies, our houses, our temples. It's our spiritual self, which is the core, the essence, the energy of our lives, and it's our mental selves or our psychological selves which help govern that and also really are marked with our personalities and who we are. And then there's our emotional self, and our emotional self often gets ignored. Sometimes people don't consider that as a dimension that should be in consideration for a part of who we are, but our emotions run the show and need to be fed on a daily basis. And they tend to move across all the other dimensions and have a lot of power and control on how we function on a daily basis. So let's start with emotions. We need to make sure that we're experiencing emotions and the best of them. And one of the things that we're talking about in our daily lifts and from the past month has been strategic planning and pushing into our destinies and manifesting our purpose. And what you should find is that you are moving to a place where you have passion, and passion fuels you. Now, passion can be good or bad, because passion can fuel you to desires that may not be so healthy for you or anyone else. And then it can fuel you to really push forward into your purpose, into your mission, into your destiny. And that's probably when passion is at its best, when you can't wait to get up in the morning to do what it is that you're doing, when sleep is of no consequence, when food is not as important as it used to be, because you've got this passion and this drive, and that passion then becomes your sustenance. Now you have to be careful with that because you don't want to overdo it. There must be balance. But that is the top of the food chain as far as daily bread for our emotions. Then there's emotions of happiness and emotions of pleasure. There's emotions of, just feeling sad or feeling good or at least feeling okay. And so we're getting our daily bread. And there should be a balance. Sometimes it's good to cry. Sometimes it's good to feel empathy or sympathy for someone and feel their pain, or even experience bad things, because it helps us really appreciate when good things come. So we're getting our daily bread in our emotional lives. And then there's our spiritual lives, and that is usually the top of that dimension would be peace. That peace that passeth understanding. It's so many people who don't have peace. There's so many people who can't sleep. There's so many people who have, just issues of anger and feeling of just sadness or depression. There's so many people who struggle with having peace in their spirit. And are we doing what we need to do? Or are we checking or noticing that there's daily bread, there's daily sustenance for our spiritual selves, for our souls? Are we getting that? Are we getting it from a sense of the higher spiritual self? Are we getting it from our friendships? Are we getting it from our circles of networks? Where are we getting that? And are you getting it at all? It's important that we have peace in our lives, and peace in our spirits is important for us across all those dimensions, because again, your emotions are going to respond to that, and your body is going to respond to that. Now, there's also our mentality, because a lot of times that's where the peace is lacking, is that our minds or our psychology is running. We're constantly running scenarios in our mind, or thinking about problems, or worrying, and that can really cause unrest spiritually, emotionally, and physically. What are we doing to strengthen our minds, to get our minds right, to let our minds be the rulers of our mental, our spiritual, and our emotional selves that it should be, that we're right thinking so that we can do right living? What are we doing? What are we allowing into ourselves, into our temples? What information are we intaking that's affecting all these other dimensions, that's feeding us mentally? What is that information? And are we vetting it? Are we looking at it and scrutinizing it? Are we paying attention to what is being said around us and what we're saying? Are we paying attention to what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're listening to? All of that affects your mental state, your psychology, and again, all dimensions affect all others. And then, of course, there's our physical self. And we know if those dimensions are not right and they're affecting your physical self, and you're not eating right, or you're not sleeping right, or you're angry and you're tense, there's tension in your body, there's anxiety there. If you're not drinking enough water, if you're not eating enough vegetables and getting enough fiber and making sure that your body systems are running well and you're getting true daily bread, true daily provision that's actually good for you, well, it can really throw things out of whack. And that's not elevated living. That's not living well at all. Everything's disjointed, and there needs to be a harmony. And we also need to rely on the next point I want to talk about with Daily Bread is faith. Because a lot of that stems from worrying and belaboring things that have happened in the past, and worrying about things that may happen in the future. If this happens, what if? There's a saying, I can't even remember where I got it from, but if was a fifth, many of us would be drunk from ifing ourselves to death. The point about Daily Bread that I really want you to get is that it's about today's bread. Today. Tomorrow is gone. We can't change it. We can't get in our magic time machines and go back and undo it and make a better impression on someone, or take back what we said, or change that relationship, or change how we did on that interview, or go and choose an opportunity that we turned down. We can't. We just can't. We can only do what we can today. Nor can we worry about tomorrow. There's a saying that goes, tomorrow will take care of itself. And why are you worrying about something that hasn't happened yet? And sometimes we're constantly thinking about things that we don't have, and worrying about things we don't have stewardship over. And come to realize that I can't worry about what I don't have, because I don't have it. I'm not going to worry about my new airplane. I don't have an airplane yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about my new, my little toddler or my child. I don't have a toddler. I'm not going to worry about a house that I don't possess yet. If I do my due diligence and do what I need to do to get there, then I will worry about that possession once I possess it. It's very, very important that we look at our faith. Are we being faithful? Are we being mindful not only of that we have daily provisions, but that they're coming sometimes without us making a lot of effort, that we're worrying about so many things that we're not producing as much as we think we are, and that yet and still we're breathing, we're living, we're okay, that there's daily provision for our lives anyway, that we're worrying all we can in the car about what we're going to say or which thing or topic we're going to talk about, and we can turn on our camera or our laptop and it comes. If you're a writer, sometimes it comes. Sometimes being an artist or being a producer, you're worried about how to solve the problem, and when you just sit down, give up and rest, not give up what you're doing, but just give up struggling, that sustenance to help you fuel what it is you need to do just comes to you. So we need to feed ourselves positively along all those dimensions. We need to find out where that sustenance is coming from. Where are we getting this daily bread? Be mindful of it and be gratuitous. So knowing what your dimensions are, knowing you're getting your daily bread on those dimensions, being faithful that it's coming and it's been coming, and that you've been sustained, and then being in the moment now, letting go of the past, not worrying about the future until it becomes the day, and then having gratitude. Gratitude is so important to our peace and to our well-being and to balance. So this is Jody Lester, and you're on Elevated Living at elevateme.org. This has been Sunday's Deeper Elevation, and until we next connect, as always, I'm wishing you the very best of life. Talk to you later.